Hello and welcome to today's webinar, BIM 360 Glue Workflow, Efficient Multidiscipline Collaboration for the Whole Team. This webinar is brought to you by LiveLab Learning, which is a subsidiary of Academic Corp, a wholly owned applied software company created to provide world-class training. This is Tiffany and I will be your moderator today. Throughout our presentation, we encourage you to interact with us by typing in questions and comments using the questions pane. We will be answering questions at the end of the presentation. For those questions that we do not address during the webinar, we will contact you directly via email to address those. This webinar is being recorded and will be available to you online on our YouTube channel. So please take note of our upcoming events. So please welcome me in joining today's speaker, Zach Brust, and I will turn it over to you, Zach.
All right, thanks, Tiffany. So thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Zach Brust. I'm with our Construction Technology Group. My background, I was an assistant project manager for a construction manager down in Florida for a year or so and helped implement a few different technologies. I took that role and went to work for Bella Systems. If you're familiar with BIM 360 Field, that's what Bella Systems was known as back in the day. So I then went to go work for Autodesk, where I was one of the first people at Autodesk to actually train on the BIM 360 platform, so both Glue and Field. Maintained that role here through my transition with Applied Software's Construction Technology Group. So that's my background. I've probably done a couple dozen implementations with BIM 360 Glue. It's a very configurable product. It's a product that doesn't need a whole lot of implementation. It's very intuitive, very simple, and I look forward to showing you what it can do here today. So I have a few slides here in the PowerPoint that will show you what it's all about at a high level, and from there we'll actually get into a live product demonstration. So high level, we're going to look at then versus now, so what the coordination process looked like at a lot of firms and still does look like at a lot of firms across the country, and how that's being changed through the use of BIM 360 Glue. So I'll then move into a product demonstration. I'll be able to show you some of the basic functionality of BIM 360 Glue, and then we'll conclude with a Q&A session at the end. All right, so high-level overview, then versus now. To first start this discussion, I kind of want to show some of the key features. So what Glue is all about, it's all about cloud-based building information model management. So what you're able to do is you're able to give access to everyone on the extended project team to the real-time look at the project model. So traditionally in the industry, there was really one or two members of the project team who had access to the latest version of the project model. To aggregate different model files, say architecture, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, etc., they would actually have to download all of those model files into one platform where they could then aggregate them and see truly the latest version of the project model. So what BIM 360 Glue is all about is providing that access in real time to everyone on the project team rather than that just one project team member. So you go to a website now and you have access to the latest version of not only your project model, not only your design model, but the entire model as a whole. So some of the key features there. Solution interoperability. What that basically means for me is it works with every file format in the industry. So whether you're using an Autodesk product or not, you have the ability to upload, view, and aggregate model files in BIM 360 Glue. There are web and iPad applications. In my estimation, I'd say about 85% of the work you'll do in BIM 360 Glue will be from the website. So again, anywhere that you have internet access. And then another 15% will be done actually on the iPad. So the iPad's obviously a mobile device that you could take out into the field, take to meetings. That's just a quicker, lighter way to pull up and view and interact with that latest version of your project model. One-click access to BIM. So this is probably one of the most powerful features of the system, and it resonates very well with a lot of teams we work with in the industry. There's this burden, if you will, in terms of accessing the project model, whether that's a technical expertise level, whether that's the right software that needs to be installed. Glue kind of removes that obstacle or hurdle, if you will, in terms of accessing the project model. So regardless of your technical expertise, regardless of whether you know how to navigate a model, regardless of whether or not you have the right software installed, you're now able to interact with, open up, and view the latest version of that project model. So every interaction that's done here in Glue, you can share with somebody as a hyperlink. And that's kind of where that one-click access to BIM comes from, because if they can click a blue hyperlink, they can open up the model in their web browser of choice and see what's going on in real time. So it's really brought a lot of people into this coordination process that typically have not been in the equation, simply because of this one-click access to BIM functionality. So moving on here, walkthroughs, visualizations, and save views. So consistent with similar products, you're able to quickly walk through, visualize, again, the real-time project model. You're able to save and export views for other users for quick reference as well. One of the primary functions here is markups and conflict resolution. So because you're aggregating a lot of different disciplines into this cloud-based interface, you're able to more quickly and efficiently resolve conflicts between trades or disciplines. So I'll show you some of that functionality here in a second. And then finally, there is this dashboard for administrators. So I've worked with a lot of project teams where the ability to quickly and easily see who's doing what, when, and where is tremendous value for them. So it's really keeping the whole team on the same page in terms of keeping their model updated and always providing the latest version to each of your project team members. So I'm going to walk through now a typical week in the coordination process. This kind of reflects the then. So typically what we saw in the coordination process is, say here on Monday, you have your different disciplines here, design, structural, and then our MEP guys reflected here. What they would typically do is send or upload their model files to this BIM manager role. This is done typically by uploading those model files to an FTP site. So the model files are uploaded to an FTP site where then our BIM manager role can spend quite a decent amount of time downloading each model file, pulling them into another piece of software, aligning them, where they can then finally start to see where conflicts might be. So then we call a coordination meeting that sometimes take 4 to 6 hours, and we're walking through the model and we're seeing where conflicts are, where there are collisions between certain models, certain disciplines. And at the end of this coordination meeting, typically our BIM manager role will send around a clash report. So I ask almost every team I work with, when do we think that clash report is out of date? My answer to that is the clash report is out of date the moment it's printed. Because the moment it's printed and it's sent around to our various disciplines, your design and MEP, they're basing their changes off of that printout, off of that PDF. They're not basing their changes off of one another's latest version of their model. So the design team's here working away, basing redesigned efforts around that PDF that was generated here on Monday. Likewise, our MEP team, they're making their changes in their models, not basing their changes off of what's going on up here, rather basing it off of that clash report. So then we live in a world where they're not in constant communication, they're not basing changes off of one another, they're working in their isolated, isolated environment, and then once the redesign has happened, they're sending it back to this BIM manager, and here we are on, say, Friday, where let's say on Monday in this coordination meeting we identified 100 conflicts that need to be resolved. Well, our design team came in here and they had 30 to resolve, and our MEP teams came in and they had 70 to resolve. So we're done, right? Well, not quite. Because we weren't really basing our changes off of one another, what we see typically here is, yeah, we got those 100 conflicts from Monday knocked out. But guess what? We created 50 more. So I really like to think of it as 2 steps forward, 1 step backward in the way we do coordination today. You're not basing changes off of one another. You're basing it off of a printout, and it's not real-time, constant communication between everyone on the project team. So what Glue has enabled teams to do, you're always going to be working from this one shared project model here in the cloud. And every single morning, every single day, teams are going to this website and they're seeing the latest version of everyone's project model. So there's no uploading and downloading and sending around clash reports. You go to the clash function in Glue and you can see not a printout, you see the latest version of how many conflicts exist between certain trades or disciplines. So what it's really done for our teams is freed up a lot of time of our BIM managers. They're no longer kind of this middleman bottleneck who is spending a lot of time uploading and downloading. It's removed a redundant and iterative process on the behalf of our design teams and our subcontractors, because they're no longer designing, redesigning, designing, redesigning. They're in constant communication with one another, and they're basing their redesign efforts off one another. So this is kind of the mentality of what Glue is all about. And with that, I'll go into the product and show you what it can do. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the Glue web browser here. So guys, this is Google Chrome here. You guys can use Internet Explorer, Firefox, again, the browser of your choice. But basically, anywhere that you have Internet access, you come right on in here, you sign in, you enter in your username and password. It's going to ask you what project set you're on. So because I'm on quite a few, I can select my, my host here of Applied Software Technology Group. You guys, typically most customers will not see something like that. It will just take you right to this project landing page like you see here. So as a user, it knows all the projects I'm on. It's showing me this highway job, this university job, this office project, and Autobahn here. So again, it knows the projects I'm on, it knows my role, it's showing me the latest version of each of those projects. So I can click into any one of them here. So I'll click Autobahn here, and it'll show me the latest set of information for that project. So when I click into it, like I said, it's real-time, up-to-date information, so you're seeing what some of my colleagues or some of my project team members are doing every year. So whenever a model is updated, you can see that. When views were added, markups were added, same concept. What you have in the Glue interface is you have 2 sets of models, if you will. You have individual models down here. So you see I have my architectural model, I have my MEP model. As I hover over each of those, you can see what version I'm on and the last time that model was updated. Then I have merged models. So merged models is a way for you to aggregate the individual models here. So let's talk about uploading models. So if I come to the Models tab here, again, you're seeing the individual models that are on my project. I have my architectural model, my MEP electrical model, mechanical, structural. The point is, all of these are individual models, may be posted by different people, different parties around the world to this website. So they're uploading their latest version of the model here, of their model. To upload, you can click this button here to upload a model, and based on your permissions, you can go ahead and upload it. So whether you're reversioning or uploading a new model, it's that easy. You also have the ability from any Autodesk application. So now I'm going to open up Revit. So here I am in Autodesk Revit. I have the ability to do this directly from my design tool. So whether you're in AutoCAD, Revit, Navisworks, you can come in and you have a BIM 360 Glue added. So this is a really quick way, as you're working in your design model, to just click Glue, and it automatically knows the projects you're on, the model file that you're uploading, and it'll automatically put it in the correct orientation and upload it right into the BIM 360 Glue project. So it does it in the background. You don't spend more than 3 seconds clicking this Add-ins tab and clicking Glue to update the project team with the latest version of your model. Pretty powerful stuff there. Now, what we're showing here again are these individual models. You also have the ability, like I said, to aggregate models here in the Merge Models tab. So Merge Models is as simple as this. To create a merge model, you'll come in here, click Add Merge Model. It'll pull in the individual models where you can then say, I want to combine architecture, MEP, and structural. You can give it a name. And click Merge Models. That would go ahead and just aggregate those model files right here in the website. So I already have a few of those created, so I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these here. So let me come and click on AMEPS. And here we go. It's loaded right in the interface. So keep in mind, guys, I'm on Wi-Fi. If you were plugged in, it'd go a good bit quicker, but still, this is the process, what you're watching in real time, that has replaced the uploading and downloading that you see in the industry. So here's our model file. You basically have everything you need loaded up right here in real time to where you can come in, and a lot of powerful workflows here. So it's preloaded everything on in for you. I can come on in and walk through the basic interface for you. This toolbar is all that you got, all that you really need. I really love this because the learning curve for a lot of our teams is very small. If you're familiar with any sort of design tool or model, you can come in and pick this up and pretty much get the hang of it. But basically, some of the tools you have here, you have the selector tool, so I can click on anything in the model, right-click, and it gives you some of these options, so I can view the properties of it. So this will show you all the properties from its native file format. It brings in all that data there. You can also click to hide that selected object. So a pretty powerful workflow to be able to come in and quickly remove the ceiling and see what's going on there. You have a measurement tool. So measurement gives you the ability to take a few different measurements. So I can come over here, click the measure tool, and you can take a point-to-point measurement, which will select between any 2 points in the model. You can take an angular measurement. You can take a shortest distance measurement. So click any 2 objects, and it will find the shortest distance. Or you could actually find the area of a given region. So I'll show you really quick a point-to-point measurement. I can click right here to the corner of that window, and it gives it to you right there. Now actually, as you notice in the bottom corner here, it gives you X, Y, and Z for that dimension there. So a nice workflow to be able to come right on in and take some of those measurements. So I'm going to come out of view here a little bit and show you some of the other tools. First, you have this Models button. So the Models button, it serves a few purposes here. First, you're seeing all the individual model files that appear here in this merge model. So again, we're looking at my architectural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and structural. So here they all are here. If you want to remove any model file, you can just click this eyeball. It'll take it right away from view. You can also dive down a little more narrowly and select, only certain components that you might want to remove from view. So here I'm selecting floors. I could, like I said, dive down even deeper and say I want to remove all ceilings on the model. Quickly select those there. A nice function to be able to do that. The other thing that you can do here is you can manipulate model files and their orientation really quickly, and that'll automatically remember where you've manipulated or transformed that model for any time a future user uploads or updates their model. It already knows the correct orientation and puts it in that orientation that you've set. So let's say, for example, that our architectural model came in to the system and it was off by a couple feet, and so the architecture was all off. Well, you could quickly come in here and you can move and rotate that selected model to where anytime that architectural model is updated in the future, it already knows the correct orientation and goes ahead and puts it in there. Moving on down, I'll come into views. So views, guys, you have two different types. You have shared views, and then you have your personal views that are saved. Views are a way for you to save a given perspective or orientation to then share with other users. So let's say I want to share this view here, this entryway view, with another member of my project team, say my project owner. Well, I can quickly come in here, click this Add View button, give it a view name, so I'll call it entryway, hit Save, and then it knows exactly who saved it, when they created it. Now, this envelope icon is a way for me to send this individual view to various people on my project team. So I can just click that envelope. I can select a member of my team. Put in a message and hit send. So that notification was sent. And like I said, that's going to send them an email from this project, from my name, from myself as a user, to where they're going to be able to click a blue hyperlink in that email, and they're going to be able to access the latest version of the project model. And they're going to be taken exactly to this view here in BIM 360 Glue. So what it'll do, it'll open up their browser and take them right to what you're looking at here. So really powerful to be able to, like I said, that one-click access to BIM. You just share it with them. If they can click a blue hyperlink, they're now part of the BIM process. So kind of taking it a step further is markups. So markups basically let you add, you can author any sort of markups into this Glue interface, and like I did with views, share them with project stakeholders. So I can come over here. Let's say I'm the owner of this project here, and I'm not a huge fan of the window layout on this wall here. I can quickly come in here, click Add Markup, select my color. So maybe I'll go with red here. I'll draw a line around these windows, put in some text, all right, so put in the text there, and then you just click Save. So just like that, you came in here and you indicated with this markup what's going on, and like I said, you can then notify another member of your project team. So maybe I come in here, I select my architect, and just like that, they've been notified. So they'll be able to quickly come right on in here into their web browser. They didn't download any software. You didn't do a GoToMeeting. All they did was click a blue hyperlink in an email that opened up their web browser and took them right to what you're showing here. So then they can come in their color, say it's green, add in text, fixing it now. So just like that, you can see these two markups I've added here. Who said what, when, and where, and the color they authored it. So I could actually rename this if I wanted. And what a lot of teams will do is they'll actually create folders where then you can drag and drop some of these markups and put them in a corresponding folder. This is a good way to kind of organize the project there. All right, so moving on, that's markups. Activity. Activities is, again, a way for you to see the entire history of the project model, who's done what, when, and where. Notice these are hyperlinked, so if I wanted to see something that a project team member did on an old model, I could actually click on one of these hyperlinks. So see here on version 2, I could actually go see what version 2 looked like. or what the markup they added in version 2 looked like. So it's a complete automatic history of your entire project that you can also actually search through. So the entire history of the project is not only saved, but it's hyperlinked to where you can quickly flip between previous versions and see exactly what was done in those versions. So I'm going to come out here now and we're going to go into probably one of the most powerful aspects of the system. It's going to be our clash detection tool. So I haven't actually created any here in this version of my model. But what a lot of teams are doing here is they're coming in and they're creating 15 to 20 clash sets. And they're creating clash sets between primary disciplines. We want to see all the clashes between our architecture and our mechanical, between our mechanical and our structural, between our electrical and our structural. What this is letting our teams do is, like I said, it shouldn't take a BIM manager, in a 4 to 6 hour coordination meeting. It shouldn't take a BIM manager to tell our team, hey, we have a piece of ductwork going through structural steel, it needs to be moved. That's not the best use of anyone's time, and that's kind of what Glue is looking to help our teams with. Because you'll set these clash sets up, and the process really is self-governing and it's self-managing. Because you set the clash sets up, the entire team is working from the same sets, they have access to it anytime, anywhere, and they can come into the Glue website and see where each of their objects have conflicts with other disciplines on the model or in the project model. So they can essentially come in and see, okay, if I'm the mechanical guy, I don't need to wait till our coordination meeting next week to see where my conflicts are. I come into Glue and see all the conflicts I have in the structure, and I can revise those, much more efficiently than in your standard coordination process. So to create a clash set, you simply click Find Clashes. It has your different models in here, and you can click subsets. So say I wanted to see all the conflicts between my entire structural model and let's go with my mechanical ducts. So again, you come in here and you can say ducts versus structure. You can set a tolerance if you want, so I'll go with 3 inches. This can be refined. This is a good way to kind of go throughout the project is start with a high tolerance of, say, a foot, see where your big items are, and then narrow it down as you move through the coordination process. Then all you hit is Find Clashes. And in real time, it's pulling together all the conflicts here in our model. We have 22 here. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing where all those conflicts are. And the beautiful thing about Glue that has made it really easy for our trades is grouping the model. So let's say I'm acting as the mechanical design team here. Well, I'd want to group this by my mechanical model. And what that does for them is it groups by their components. So you see this duct here has 4 conflicts. This has 2, 2, 2, and the magnitude of each of those conflicts. So what you're able to do is I can click on this round duct here, and right here in real time, it's going to show me my object, in this case, my round duct, and where the 4 conflicts are with other objects in the project model. So it's a little tough with this small screen real estate here. Usually I have a double monitor. But what you can see is, again, where those conflicts are, or where that conflict is with other project models. Now what our teams are able to do, you can see the object it's conflicting with. You can actually notify a user of this conflict. So let's say this is our mechanical team here. I can say, hey, take a look. Need to move this duct 4 inches. Hit send, and then like I said, they're automatically notified of where that conflict is, and they're taken right into the model. So again, pretty powerful to be able to come in. You create these sets for our entire team to see. You can see how many active clashes there are in that set, how many are open, how many are closed, how many have been resolved. This is a way for you to track the status of these, and then really powerful, you can actually see the history of it. So again, there's no more PDF printouts, no more clash reports being sent around. You basically come into this project model and you're seeing all of these clash sets, when the last time they were run, how many active conflicts exist between them, and then how many of those have been closed. So it kind of builds the history of the coordination process automatically here in Glue. The other feature, the last feature I'm going to show you guys, because we get asked this almost every time, what if I'm in Glue and a project model gets updated? So here I am in my entire project model. Let's say the plumber updates their model. Well, you would actually get notified with a exclamation mark right here that says, hey, you're working from an outdated model. And all you have to do is click refresh, and it'll pull in the latest version of that model. So you basically never have to worry about reliability when it comes to your project model being up to date. So that's all I have for Glue, guys. Do we have any questions?
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Zach, for that. We do have some questions. So the first one is, what file formats are supported?
Yeah, good question. So like I said, there are automatic plugins for all of your Autodesk tools, Revit, Navisworks, AutoCAD, Civil 3D. You can automatically, through that Glue button in those products, update your model or upload your model to Glue. That said, for every other file format in the industry, you can still manually upload it and send the model file up into Glue. We actually have the ability, let me come in here and go to Downloads. And Downloads is where you will see all the supported file formats here in Glue. So here are the automatic plugins for your Navisworks products, or excuse me, your Autodesk products, and then you click on this link, Supported Native File Formats, and it shows you all the other industry supported file formats. So I'll put it this way, I've never been on a project where their file format was not supported here. It kind of defeats the purpose. Okay?
Okay, great. And another question, how is this changing the way project teams use clash reports?
Yeah, another good question. So what I've seen is probably one of the best uses of Glue that I've seen. There's a client we work with who has essentially created a matrix, and that matrix has all of the different trades and scopes on either axis, and basically it defines the hierarchy for when this and this have a conflict, this is what's being moved. When these two scopes have a conflict, this gets moved. And what that team has done is on every project that they go on, that matrix governs the coordination process. So there really aren't a lot of clash reports generated at all. They basically set the expectation up front that, hey, we're going to use Glue to manage coordination. You can log into the website and in real time see where conflicts are, and then refer to this matrix to see, okay, if I have these conflicts, I need to move. If these are the conflicts, then those need to move. So it's kind of changed the way that our BIM managers have coordinated and communicated with the project team.
Okay, great. Let's see, we have another one here. Do I need to buy a license for my owner if they just want to view the model?
No, not a good question. So there are a lot of different roles and permissions in the system, who can see what, who can upload what, who can modify what. If someone just needs view access, it's completely free. So it's free for them to come in, click on the hyperlink, go into the website, and see what's going on. We actually had a client that embedded links for their owners on their website. So whenever the owners went to their website, the project website, they could click on a hyperlink, and it would take them right into the project model. And so then they could show, it was a condo, they could show prospective buyers exactly what the design looked like in real time. So free access for owners to come in and just simply see, view, walk around, and visualize the project model.
Okay, and we'll just do one more here just in the essence of time. How do I know that the model in Glue is up to date?
Yeah, basically you can always rely on Glue being up to date as long as your project teams have updated their model. So every time that they update their model and they click to send it to Glue, which again is a one-click process that just uploads the model in the background, anytime you open up the project model, it's pulling in the latest version of everyone's model into Glue. So anytime you open up a model, it is going to be the latest and greatest. And then for whatever reason, if you're actually in the model while somebody updates it, it'll give you that red flag of, hey, you're in this model, but this model has been updated. You need to refresh to see the latest version that's been posted.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Zach. As I mentioned before, that if we did not address your question during our live webinar, we will contact you directly via email to address that. And if you haven't already, search Live Lab Learning on Facebook and like our page to receive the latest information and special offers. And when you visit our website, which is livelablearning.com, there is a complete schedule of upcoming training and future informational webinars and tidbits as well as software updates. So thank you so much for joining us today. Zach, thank you for your time, and we hope you all found this webinar informative and help your business.
All righty.